Good morning. Welcome to Market Day Report. I'm Tony St. James. Welcome to a Monday. Hopefully you had a great weekend and you're prepared for a full trading week. We get a full trading week, 5 full days this week, but is it next week? We have Labor Day, so we're down to 4 trading days, but we're wrapping up the month of August. And how are we trading corn in the overnight session? Down 5 3/4 on September at $3.62 a bushel, $3.86 1/4 on the D's. That off 4 3/4 cents. And what about soybeans? 7 lower on the September at $9.45 a bushel, with November at $9.65, down 8. On wheat, saw sell-off on Friday. That continues. Nickel lower on the Chicago contract, at $4.97 1/4. July new crop, $5.62 1/4, down 4 3/4 cents. Now, hard red winter wheat, 6.5 lower on the 2024 contracts, with September at $5.13.5. Spring wheat, that's where we've seen the deepest losses. September continues, down 13.5, $5.38 1/4. And in New York, cotton futures now starting to rally on dry conditions. December, though, unchanged at 70.91. Brian Hoops is president, Midwest Market Solutions. And Brian, we wrap up a weekend. We get ready for another trading week. What are you watching?
Good morning, Tony. Well, yeah, we're coming out of this weekend here, and we're looking at some bearish prices from a technical standpoint. Corn 4-year lows overnight. Kansas City, Chicago, Minneapolis wheat, all contract lows. And a little curious that the Minneapolis is the biggest mover to the downside when they have all this rain forecast this week, as Jeff's forecast noted, across Minnesota, where they're trying to harvest some of that spring wheat, and parts of the Dakotas where they're trying to do some harvesting. That, of course, rain will disrupt the harvest. It'll talk about disease pressures, maybe lower test weights. All this kind of combines to make you wonder why the Minneapolis is down that hard, other than just some active harvest pressure. But we're seeing big losses there, and surprisingly, soybeans have held their lows after Friday's Pro Farmer Tour data. That number was a bearish surprise to the trade. They put the yield at 54.9 bushels per acre. That's well above the current USDA forecast, which is 53.2, easily a new all-time record. And certainly was going to be bearish for prices, but soybeans are the one that has so far held its technical support overnight. Of course, the Pro Farmer Tour for corn was bearish, maybe not as big as expected, 181.1 bushels per acre, but that is their second largest they've ever forecast in history, trailing the 2021 forecast. They said 185.8 bushels per acre that year. So these are big numbers. We know we're going to have a big crop. That's nothing surprising, I don't think, to the trade. As far as weather forecasts coming out here after the holiday, through the end of this month, next in the 6 to 10 day into early part of September, we're looking at mostly normal type temperatures, maybe even below normal, and normal to above normal precip, especially in the southern plains. That above normal precip will be important because it's been so dry in the plains when they want to plant that winter wheat contracts.
Brian, just a good reminder that fall is on the way, at least if you watch TV over the weekend, and already college football starting back up. So we'll take a halftime break here, and we'll come back for the second half, which is livestock futures. We're back with Brian as Market Day Report continues after this. Welcome back. Market Day Report. Well, we said the grains and oil seeds, the first half of the game. That was our halftime break, if you will. So let's go into the third and fourth quarter. We'll talk livestock now, and starting with live cattle futures. We ended the day on Friday with the August couple of pennies higher, but October down 2 dimes at 175.70. Now, the market closed prior to the release of USDA's cattle on feed report. We'll talk about that in a moment. August feeders up 60, while September gained 37 to 238.57. And then hog trade on Friday, settling 92 higher at 80.55 on the October, 70.75 on the D's, up 47 and just 20 cents off the day's high. Well, we mentioned the cattle on feed report out from USDA. Let's bring back in Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions. Did you see any surprises in that cattle on feed?
Unfortunately, we saw a little bit of a bearish surprise, Tony. We saw overall the on-feed numbers coming in bearish compared to estimates, just slightly bearish, about 100.3%. Trade was looking for right at 100. So a little bit of a negative number there, but the placement category is what everyone is focusing on this morning, 105.8%. Is what the USDA came up with. That was larger than expectations, which were around 103.8%. So a bearish number there. We're going to see a little bit of a negative reaction, I'm afraid, to start the morning. Marketings were good. They weren't quite as strong as expected, even though we had 2 extra marketing days last month. So overall, we were kind of negative going into this report. This is going to push us a little bit lower, I think, but it won't be too long after the report has been released and digested and traded that we'll start talking about possibilities of where we're going to trade this week's cash. We were lower last week in the cash markets, anywhere from 3 to 5 lower dress basis, 2 to 4 on a live basis, and there's talk that we could be steady to lower again. Although the one bright spot here is packer margins have healed enough that they are back in the black. They are over $44 a head positive, and that's a great sign that the packer margins have improved. Now, if we can get those kills to expand a little bit, we're still under 600,000 head killed last week. That's always a negative when you cannot get above that amount killed. We need to be killing more animals than that to get through some of these supplies that we're seeing.
Great points. Just means you have to come back and visit with us again on Wednesday. Brian Hoops is with Midwest Market Solutions. And that's how we're going to tee up the ball, if you will, to kick off another trading week.
That's right.
Yeah. So can you tell I'm kind of caught in football?
You're ready for football.
Ready
I am
for
too,
football.
actually.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge football fan. Looking forward to it.